We're checking out Post-Trauma to let you know if it's worth playing. You play as Roman, a middle-aged subway conductor who wakes up alone on the floor of a deserted subway car. No explanation, no clue what's going on. Just you, Roman, and the dark corridors of a quiet, unsettling underground station. Roman clearly isn't in the best place mentally, and as you move through the game, you slowly begin to uncover more about his past. But before dealing with anything personal, Roman and you need to survive whatever it is that's lurking in this world. That means exploration, puzzle solving, and sometimes fighting off terrifying creatures. From the start, the camera angles in Post-Trauma stand out. They are fixed but slightly responsive, giving a cinematic and claustrophobic feel to every hallway and room. When you try to move the camera, it only shifts slightly, kind of like Roman's neck is stiff from sleeping on the subway floor. It adds a subtle layer of tension, keeping you constantly aware of your surroundings without giving you full control. It's reminiscent of Silent Hill and Resident Evil, but don't worry, the controls aren't nearly as clunky as those early horror games. Moving Roman feels more intuitive, even if the camera perspective sometimes flips and causes a quick, directional slip. One of the first challenges in the game involves unlocking a subway car door with a cylindrical combination lock. Of course, the missing piece of the lock isn't nearby. It's back in another car. This encourages careful exploration and observation, something you'll be doing a lot of throughout the game. Don't be surprised if you find yourself taking notes or snapping photos with your phone. Some puzzles require keeping track of symbols, codes, or visual clues. The game doesn't always spell things out, which makes solving them satisfying, but also potentially frustrating if you're not paying attention. Combat in Post-Trauma is not the main focus, but it's there, and it's tough. Early in the game, you'll come across a two-headed mannequin-like enemy. Armed only with a crowbar, you'll need to time your attacks carefully. This isn't a button-mashing game. If you go in swinging wildly, you'll likely get punished for it. Combat here feels inspired by games like Dark Souls. Every enemy is a threat, no matter how weak they seem. Picking the right moment to strike and knowing when to back off becomes crucial. But don't worry, these moments are rare. The game is more Souls-light than full-on Soulsborne. In true survival horror fashion, Post-Trauma gives you a storage box and save point system that feels very Resident Evil inspired. You'll find cassette players where you can save your progress, and big wooden boxes to store items you don't immediately need. The game doesn't bog you down with tedious durability mechanics though. The crowbar doesn't break, and melee weapons in general don't wear out. That's a huge relief in a genre where resource management is already stressful enough. The same goes for Roman's flashlight. You won't be hunting down batteries every 10 minutes. The light stays on and stays bright, unless something creepy flickers it out, of course. Roman can also run, and while his stamina does drain, it doesn't empty quickly and refills fast. It keeps the pace steady and lets you explore without worrying about micromanaging every movement. The environments in Post-Trauma are loaded with detail. From blood-stained subway cars to lifeless mannequins that never seem to be where you left them, the game knows how to make you feel uncomfortable. Even the simple act of walking along empty tracks can be unsettling. And then there are moments that just make you stop and think, like finding a fresh cup of coffee in an otherwise empty break room. It's those little touches that keep you on edge. Something or someone is definitely still down here with you. Sound plays a big role in this game. From distant echoes to sudden noises and the haunting silence in between, the audio design helps set the mood. It's subtle, it's creepy, and it's effective. Visually, Post-Trauma sticks to a grounded, gritty style. The textures and lighting are designed to enhance that old-school horror feel, but with modern polish. It doesn't look hyper-realistic, but it doesn't need to. The fixed camera angles allow for better control of lighting and framing, making every room feel like a carefully composed horror movie scene. Now, let's talk about what is not good. The combat system in Post-Trauma can be frustrating, as enemies are tough and require careful timing. Button mashing won't work, and combat encounters are infrequent, which might leave action fans disappointed. The camera angles are a bit awkward at times. The fixed camera system adds tension, but can make movement feel disorienting, especially when the perspective changes quickly. While puzzles are rewarding, they can be too obscure, requiring careful observation and note-taking. This might frustrate players who prefer more straightforward gameplay. The narrative unfolds slowly, and the lack of immediate answers can feel like a drag. If you're looking for faster pacing, the gradual story reveal might feel tedious. Finally, the enemy variety is limited, with many encounters involving the same creepy mannequins. This lack of diversity can make combat feel repetitive, especially for players expecting more variety in enemy types. These issues might slow down the game for some players, but if you enjoy slow burn horror and attention to detail, they might not bother you as much. Post-Trauma is a love letter to old-school survival horror, but it's more than just nostalgia. It creates a genuinely unsettling experience through its environments, puzzles, and sense of isolation. Every choice, from camera angles to stamina systems, feels deliberately made to support its psychological horror roots. This isn't a game that throws enemies at you non-stop or fills every corner with loud jump scares. It plays the long game, building dread one eerie mannequin at a time. If you enjoy slow burn horror with puzzle solving, exploration, and the occasional terrifying encounter, Post-Trauma is absolutely worth a playthrough. But be warned, this game doesn't hold your hand and it wants you to feel uneasy. So if you're looking for something fast-paced or action-heavy, you might want to look elsewhere. Just don't be surprised if you come for the horror, but stay for Roman's journey through grief, memory, and recovery. That wraps up the demo review for Post-Trauma. If creepy mannequins, mysterious puzzles, and unsettling subway stations sound like your thing, then this one might just crawl under your skin in the best way possible. Be cautious, be curious, and above all, don't turn your back on that fresh cup of coffee. Thanks for watching, and if you're into more game reviews like this, stick around for more deep dives.